Hi, you're watching me, CplCrud.
Well, Actually, that's true. CplCrud did write the Hanako Path.
Oh, and Matty D on the MacDaddyMatty channel.
And this is my frank and unfiltered review of Hanako's Path from the visual novel Katawa Shoujo.
How do you say Katawa Shoujo?
Katawa Shoujo. I can't remember exactly how you said it in the first video, but it wasn't bad enough for me to go, ugh. The one that gets me is Shizune. That one people need to go smack their freaking head against a wall.
One more time.
Oh. Katawa Shoujo, I guess is the Englishish version. Yeah, Katawa Shoujo.
This is a follow-on video to my awesome Katawa Shoujo intro vid. No spoilers in that one, but this video has all the spoilers. This video assumes you've completed Hanako's Path at least once, and it picks up from where my Katawa Shoujo intro vid left off, so go do both those things before watching. Seriously guys, look, I know a lot of you don't actually play the games I review, and are only watching this hoping for some naked Kenji or something. But this is a really good story, or I would not be reviewing it, and you should download and play Katawa Shoujo, and then come watch this after doing Hanako. I mean after doing her path. God damn it. Okay, Hanako. Here we go. I started playing Katawa Shoujo as my second ever visual novel, the first being Doki Doki Literature Club, and I'm not going to reiterate all what I talked about in those two awesome videos, but I will say that wandering around the Katawa Shoujo universe, I was very off balance, a bit starry-eyed, and quite wary. Until, that is, I met Hanako. When Hanako was 8, her house burned down. Her parents both died. Hanako only survived because her mother wrapped her own body around Hanako to protect her.
Oh shit, there it is, yeah.
She lived in an orphanage before coming to Yamaku Academy for physically disabled students. She brought with her the terrible scarring from those burns that cover much of the right side of her body and face, as well as the crippling social anxiety due to the trauma and bullying that followed. Now 18 and in her final year, she has one friend at school, Lily, a blind student who mothers her and often escorts her around. And she's on good terms with Lily's sister Akira and the librarian Yuko. But that's it! Hanako avoids people and often flees class for places of quiet and solitude. We meet her in the library and the path goes from there. At least it did for me. Blind playthrough, I'm on the Hanako Path, and I was totally captivated by this character. I went from cagey and guarded to suddenly focused, beelining towards her, as I just wanted to know more about what's going on with the dark-haired girl. And Matty was happy to be riding the Hanako Path. Now, I have knight in shining armor syndrome. Really, Misha? The knight rescues the princess from the dragon? You know, I never thought about it that way, but actually, yeah, we can call it Mario syndrome. Why not? I have Mario syndrome.
In nota casa, Shihoza.
But because I'm not a trope, I have nuanced tastes and desires. The idea of rescuing or being able to provide for a need to somebody, although I do find alluring and compelling, personally I also desire an equal partner to pal around with, and who will be there for me as well. A Luigi to my Mario, if you will. Only with boobs. Hey Misha, that actually made for an oddly decent metaphor.
Fuck it, I'm out.
So having Mario syndrome, and also wanting an equal partner, the Hanako Path knew exactly how to rope me in, as I'm naturally torn between part of me wanting to soothe and shore up this fragile creature, and part of me wanting also to liberate her from her seclusion. Oh, if you haven't played Hanako's Path, go away, and come back after you do, because it's spoilers time.
Cool.
I can never change just what I feel. My face will never show what is not real.
We know Hanako loves and appreciates Lily and seems utterly dependent on her. What's peculiar, right away I'm struck by the idea she must want someone else in her life, even if it's just when Lily is unavailable. And it seems Lily also has these same thoughts, as evidently Hisao does what no one else in the school has been able to, or tried to, connect with Hanako, even after she runs away. He doesn't give up, so unless I'm a complete brick, I'm convinced Lily starts steering us, Hisao and Hanako, together in a matchmakering kind of way.
I wouldn't say it's an overly active one. She would probably pull back if she noticed that there was nothing going on and just try and make them friends. I think she just wants to she wants what's best for Hanako.
What also popped in my head was, is Hisao that person? Can he get his shit straight long enough to figure out what his life is now about, and be able to find out if Hanako is a potential companion? I mean, he's clearly infatuated, just totally directionless. Understandably, as Hisao has yet to come to grips with his new normal since his heart attack and being placed in this environment. Yeah, Lily starts to play Cupid early on. She knows this is their final year at school. She must be asking herself, what's gonna happen to Hanako? She can't take her with her after graduation. Maybe, if Hisao and Hanako are a pair, prepare. They will start thinking about the future, something neither is doing at the moment. Lily asks us, what do we think about Hanako? And then, satisfied with our answer, invites Hisao over for the tea party. She also stops Akira from taking drunk Hanako back to her room on her birthday, and asks us to do it. When we came back from town that first time with Lily and Rin, we're breathing heavy on the hill. Lily got concerned and remarked that Hanako had said sometime previously that we looked healthy. So we know they've talked about us, and I would love to know what they've been saying. Oh my god, I know, right? That would be so awesome! So Lily says, do you think of Hanako as a friend? I immediately said, are you asking if I consider Hanako a friend? Are you asking me if I like her? If I like her? Well, if I'm this far into Hanako's path on my first playthrough, clearly I find something about her attractive. Are you asking me that? The writing in Katawa Shoujo is good enough we can't dismiss anything as filler. What strikes me most about this scene is right before Lily invites us to the tea party, she mentions that since I've known Hanako, she really hasn't connected with anyone. Wait, are we connecting with her?
This is one of the great mysteries of the internet.
She has no connections besides Lily and Akira, and we're connecting with her. Then that's huge, right?
Well, it is Hanako's path, so duh.
But even knowing that, I'm genuinely unsure, and any hint towards where we are and what direction we're moving in would be very welcomed. I mean, we have moments. Early on, when Hanako shows up and we go with her to look for Lily, I'm asking myself, did Hanako seek us out and recruit us to go with her? One side of the spectrum, it's incidental. The other extreme and more likely scenario, she wants our company and hasn't even bothered looking for Lily yet. Like her skill in chess, is this a tactical move? If yes, then she wants to spend time with us, and that's awesome! When we sit with her in the library and she thanks us for hanging out with her, oh, swoon, oh my god. And when we go with Lily to see how Hanako is, after her catatonic spell, and we offer to leave Lily and Hanako to some privacy, and Hanako says, I don't want that. She wants us to stay. Oh, spear in my heart for 3 reasons. How beautiful a person she is, the bridge we've built to each other, and that Hisao will likely fuck this up too. Or, on the other side, did Lily observe, if you will, some interest towards us from Hanako? And Lily's asking us, do you think of Hanako as a friend, ensuring we like her before allowing a situation where Hanako could get hurt? And it seems okay, so we get invited to the tea party. But this combination of characters was at times really frustrating. Hanako is very much an enigma. Her behavior is sometimes paradoxical, with her personality all over the map, and just best guesses as to what she's thinking. She hates being protected, but she craves it. All her actions addictively speak to it. She consistently clings to Lily and seeks her for a feeling of safety. Our first time spending any time at all with her is escorting her to the store in town when Lily is unavailable, because the idea of going alone causes Hanako dread. Hisao's character arc in Hanako's path is making peace with his new normal, not being the person he was, now having a heart condition, which obviously he has no idea how to do. But he's also not in very much of a hurry to get it in gear, so he's unfocused and hesitant. Lily's pretty vague and not forthcoming with the details, as she wants Hisao to think for himself. Refer to the Lily-Hisao window shopping scene for a great example. So Hisao is indecisive, Hanako is on the verge of saying something but never quite doing it, and Lily all-knowing but elusive.
Hisao is originally like a blank canvas that you should be able to project yourself onto as the player, but then he had to have some kind of story, some kind of character and motivation as well. One of the biggest issues with, biggest challenges with writing Hanako was actually writing her dialogue, because there is a lot of depth to her character. She's got a lot of shit going on in her head, but you can never write anything more than about 5 or 6 words. Because if you write those 5 or 6 words, then suddenly it's like, well, hang on, she would never speak that much. So
this combination of characters and their interactions often left me with no idea how to manage Hanako. It caused conundrum and often had me befuddled as to what our choices on her path would mean or lead to. And then Hanako goes catatonic. Look, I really want to blame you guys for that, but in a way it's part of the Hanako Paradox. You guys tease everyone, and she wants to be treated as normal, but often doesn't respond normally to normal. So I can see why our classmates kind of just give her space. But yes, it sucks you spoiled the surprise. I'll tell you what, Shizune, you can make it up to me on your path. Ooh, this is awkward. So the birthday party goes well. She's been drinking and we've been drinking. We take her back to her room and out of nowhere she hugs us. For the first time, we're getting the attention and affection from her that, well, it's the connection I've been craving along this path, albeit buoyed by alcohol. And at this moment, Hisao should absolutely hug her.
Telegram from your viewers.
No, dude. Look, did you ever love a song, or a book, or a movie, or a pet? Did you want to bang your pet? No, of course not. Alright, that doesn't count.
Me? Yow.
What I'm talking about is fondness and enamoration. It's not a sexual thing. It's an affection thing. It's okay to feel strongly enamored for something or someone without having to bang them. This moment with Hanako is confirmation that there is connection. And at that moment, I just want to hold her and tell her, thank you for being my friend, Hanako. You are very dear to me and I cherish the time I get to spend with you. Then count to 5, let her go, put her in bed, and get out. But he doesn't, and that sucks. Because the gates to Hanako, the person, are open wide at this moment for the very first time, and we walk away. And when she says, no, I want you to stay, oh man, I can feel my heart melting. Just fucking hug her, you infuriating nincompoop, Hisao. My god, if anybody needs a hug more than Hanako, I cannot imagine who it is. But think about it. Hanako has likely had 0 physical contact with anyone since that horrible day when she was a child. Clinging to Lily in the hallway doesn't count. A few moments ago, she hugged Lily and was so happy. How often does that happen? Just fucking hug her. Light confession time. Then put her into bed and leave. Bang. Done. Wait, let me rephrase that. You know what? Never mind. You know what I'm saying. If she tries to take it farther, be honest. Tell her, I really want to stay. But I don't want our first kiss to be after we've been drinking. And tomorrow, when we're sober, I'm probably going to ask you on a date if I can muster the courage. Not now, Misha. Am I asking too much of an 18-year-old who's had a few and never really drank before? Who's trying to figure himself out in this alien world he's now living in? Probably. Playing on our Mario syndrome, Hanako's path later sets us up for the neutral or bad endings, unless you see past the outroverted behavior she displays for much of the story, and really take to heart what Muta and Lily tell you. It's those short but critical scenes, covertly placed in the path like a trip hazard, that are the key to unlocking the puzzle that is Hanako. Muta and Lily both tell us directly about our need to focus on our future, and less about protecting Hanako. These are delivered in a no-nonsense and quietly sober manner. Lily tries to tell Hisao that Hanako doesn't need him to be her father. Ironic, as Lily is basically her mother figure, or maybe a big sister to her. And what Hanako does need is a companion, but one that's looking into their own future, as feeding into each other's more worrying habits and not thinking about or planning for their future will destroy any chance of a relationship and leave them both unready to cope with the real world. I first didn't listen, and instead went to Hanako, because I'm impetuous and I missed her, ending the path as friends. Of course, it was one of those moments I kinda knew Hisao was gonna screw up. See, for me, my conversation with her in both the neutral and bad endings would have gone something like this. First of all, I would have gotten her a plant for that dreary bedroom of hers. A flowering plant for our flower girl. Anyway, hey Hanako, I missed you, so I thought I'd come by and say hi. I'm gonna go grab a bite to eat. Did you want to come along? Okay, and by the way, I wanted to tell you, when we were both drunk, you wanted to hug, and I really wanted to hug you. But we were both drunk. Yeah. Anyway, I owe you a hug, and anytime you want to collect it. Okay, look, I really did enjoy the Hanako path. She's a wonderful character who siren-songed my heart from the first moment we met. And it only got stronger as her desire to be an equal partner surfaced. But I do think the Hanako journey often feels like it's an idle. Hisao does a lot of nothing moving the relationship forward. He keeps saying he needs to something. Ask Hanako, talk to Lily, and he never does. A laundry list of things to perpetually procrastinate. Not enough chess in the relationship on his part. And Hanako's attempts justifiably meager and totally missed by Hisao. He doesn't know how to connect to her because he doesn't know who he is. If you don't love yourself, you can't love someone else. And you can't love yourself if you don't know who you are. But he also doesn't do anything to break out of that funk, or feed the connection that he does have with Hanako. Even before the path begins, Misha seems to imply that hiding in books isn't a healthy answer to our waffle-like existence. And Hanako has gotten better, markedly. Getting her into the city was a big deal. The last time they did that was a year ago. Lily, Akira, and Hanako to karaoke. This is a club with people around, and Lily and Akira stay at the bar. So it's a big improvement for Hanako, in public, away from Lily. Out of nowhere, Hanako goes into the city during the day alone when they met and Hisao buys the flower for Hanako's phone. Hanako also, by herself, goes into town to the tea house where Hisao and Yuko are sitting. Remember, she wouldn't even go alone to town for shopping in the evening at the start of the path. These are huge steps, and Hisao seems near oblivious to the gravity of them. Taking Lily's advice and focusing more on his own future actually brings Hanako to him, but in a manner that forces her hand, as she sees Hisao go from a lot of attention towards her to more focusing on himself and Yuko and Mickey. Konnichiwa, Mickey! And then it got LEWD. Not now, Kenji. Now this is the first time I've seen LEWD in a visual novel, and it was a little weird. But although surprising, it was also surprisingly tasteful. Whew. Okay, here we go. Hanako undresses and fully revealed says, "This is me."
She's in a different castle.
And Hisao, he starts out great, telling her she's much more than the scars. And then, This quickly became a lip bite moment as I helplessly watched Hisao flail through the scene, toiling and making rookie decisions.
You have to roll down pantyhose.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
So let's rewind for a moment. Hanako takes off her clothes. When a woman gets naked in front of you, there's two choices. That's it, two choices. Get with her or don't. If you don't, and you are not a master at human diplomacy, you will never get her naked with you again. Worst case, she and all her friends will never speak to you again. This is Riddle of the Sphinx level puzzlery here. Gordian knot with Prometheus level, scorched earth type consequences. This is not amateur hour, and Hisao is way out of his pay grade here. He simply doesn't have the tools for this. So let me tag in here, Hisao, because you can do nothing but muck this up. Alright, Hanako, naked in every sense of the word, says, "This is me." I would have looked at Hanako. Then I would have walked up to her and looked at her face, the scarred side and the unblemished. And I would have taken her hands, kissed them, and looked deeply into her eyes and said, "Yes, this is you, Hanako. No different than the first time we met in the library. You. All of you. And I miss you when you're not around. Hanako, my life got screwed up really fast. Totally upended, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Is it fair for me to ask someone into my life when I'm floating with no idea where up is? I don't know, Hanako. But I know I have feelings for you, and I really like when we're together. I'm extremely happy that you're in my life. You really are one of the few bright points. And I'd love to find out if there's more to these feelings. And I want to be with you. I only hesitate because what you see on your outside is what I feel on my inside. I worried a lot because I had no idea what was going on with us. The great news is now I've got a pretty good idea of how you feel about me. I mean, you're naked after all, and that makes me feel very special. So now that we know how we both feel about each other, is it okay if we take it slow because I'd like the opportunity to romance you? What do you think? Then kiss her. One slow, small kiss. Smile, step back, look at her boobs, say, "Wow, spectacular. I am very attracted to you. Now put your clothes on. I'm gonna go take a cold shower. And then dinner? You want to cook together?" That could have been the moment that broke all the walls. That could have been the catharsis to all the ambiguous drama. Then again, I'm not an 18-year-old sporting wood 3 feet away from awesome boobage. But, come on, man. You haven't even kissed her yet, and you haven't spent much time with her recently. These are alarm bells.
What on earth are you doing?
So Hisao replaces his focus on Hanako with a focus on schoolwork. Still wishy-washy as he just about cuts ties with her, replacing one focus with another. This plays right into Hanako's biggest fear of people tiring and abandoning her, and draws her to make a bold decision, a last-ditch effort, and desperate act to hold on to their connection. And it's crushing to learn she only sleeps with us to keep us around. And I do blame Hisao for a lot of that. Because not only does he have a bum ticker, he also has visual novel main character syndrome. See, right now all the weebs are laughing at me because I'm such a noob. The magic of visual novels is that the player has some control of how the story plays out, but is still powerless to the whims and whimsy of the main character most of the time. I get that every player has their own personality, and the main character can't really display traits outside of a certain focus without alienating the player. You could never please everyone. If the main character was flawless, the game would be dull. So I'm often impressed at how well a lot of times the writers are able to keep the audience playing when the main character really feels like a candidate for late-term abortion.
It's a real problem, isn't it? Yeah. I hate VNs where you put your own name into them. That might be an unpopular opinion, but you know that your characters have to be characters. If they're supposed to be a reflection of someone else, then it's terrible. And I'm guilty of that originally with Hanako. And I think everyone knows about the leaked alpha. I've got no idea where it leaked from, but it's out there. Before that, there was Grid 1, and then before that, there was like even more proto versions of everything, and there was some really terrible Hanako scenes in there where I thought I was okay at writing at that time, but I was actually quite terrible. And now I've kind of, over 10 years, maybe reached the level of possibly okay. But that self-insertion was terrible. And when you think about those characters that are written to just be a self-insert for the reader, it's like, that person's not going to ever have anything more than that blank canvas VN protagonist syndrome.
Hisao fortunately never gets to that level of frustration on the Hanako path, but I did get pretty mad at times. So Katawa Shoujo makes Hisao get over his prejudice towards the disabled, that their conditions define them, which they don't. Hanako is a normal girl, very bright, very observant. She's had trauma that shaped her life, and like a scared kitten, she does need to be coaxed out of her hiding places. But she's so much more complex than just that, because beyond her outward fears, she still has the same wants, concerns, desires, and pride that any girl has, that we all have. And the reveal at the end was nicely written, explaining that wanting to protect her made her feel worthless, and that what she needed was not a protector, but a companion who saw her as an equal. It's nice that we could be that, and it's nice that she could be that for us also. That is, after all, what companions, equals, do for each other. With boobs. With boobs.
I can never change just what I feel. My face will never show what is not real.
In my short but illustrious time playing and discussing visual novels, I've come to the realization there's 3 types of romance routes. The pursuit, where the whole game is spent chasing the girl and you only get her at the very end. The capture, where you get into a relationship very quickly and the rest of the game is spent going on dates and dealing with the issues that arise from within and without the relationship. And the hybrid, where a healthy portion of the game is spent pursuing the relationship and another healthy portion spent in the relationship. I personally find the latter, the hybrid, to usually be the most satisfying, as there's both anticipation and reward. I find the pursuit usually to be the least satisfying, as the moment you finally achieve the goal, the game ends. The Hanako path is 100% pursuit route, in regards to having Hanako as a companion, and it has to be genuine. But as much as I enjoyed it, the catharsis at the end still left me asking, what next? Don't get me wrong, it's a great story with a wonderful character, but so many questions are left unanswered at the end of the path. Anyway, I've already cut 12 minutes out of this video and I really gotta wrap it up. Initially, I had intended to combine this review with the Skype call I did with CplCrud. Unfortunately, they didn't really flow all that well together. The good news is now you get a second video, which is exclusively the conversation we had together. Give me about a week to put that out. In the meantime, he's got a couple of books out, and he's working on a new visual novel, so follow him on Twitter. And also come hang out on my Discord and let me know what visual novel I should do next. Both of those links, and more from CplCrud, are below in the description.
Shizune. Shizune. Had to get it in there. Subscribe, like, and comment. I'm CplCrud.
I'm Mattyd with boobs.